Welcome to the Vandal Insider Podcast, presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Get the latest information on University of Idaho athletics you won't find anywhere else. It's all here on the Vandal Insider Podcast, every fan source for all things Idaho athletics. Here's your host, Dennis Patchin.
Welcome to another edition of the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. On this edition, we'll talk to head coach Thomas Ford Jr. about the big win over Northern Arizona and a look ahead at a huge game Saturday in the Kibbie Dome with 11th-ranked UC Davis. Also joining us in this podcast will be the man who scored that game-winning touchdown in overtime against the Lumberjacks, Hayden Kincheloe. It was a historic night Monday night on the basketball court as both the Idaho men and women knocked off Washington State to open up the basketball season with victories. It marks the first time since 1981 that both teams beat Washington State in the same year. We'll talk to Jackson Rasmussen and Kyra Gardner about the win and about Vandal basketball. And Tim Mooney, the Vandals Deputy Athletic Director, joins us as we talk about the new project that's coming down the highway for the athletic department. What a win for the Vandals on Halloween night as they come from behind for a 35-32 overtime win against Northern Arizona. It was a great start for the Vandals, scoring 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. The first, Joshua Wood to Ryan Jesiaro. Wood calling signals. Now we'll take the snap. Blitz coming from the corners. Got a man wide open. Jesiaro, touchdown.
They ran the rubber out. I told you they were looking like they were going to run.
Touchdown, Idaho. With less than 5 minutes left in the half, Eli Cummings would take over. Jesiaro back through the formation now, all the way through the formation. Wood takes the snap. Blitz coming. Wood's going to find Cummings wide open. He's in the flat to the 20, to the 10, 5, touchdown, Idaho! And he wasn't done. With 28 seconds left, he did it again. Wood calling signals. Cox comes through the formation to the left, now back to the right. They're going to hand it off to Cummings. He follows him to the left, high stepping to the 10, to the 5. He spins into the end zone. Touchdown, Idaho! The Vandals had a 26-7 lead with 21 minutes left in the game, but Northern Arizona scored 3 touchdowns in less than 10 minutes, and a 2-point conversion gave them a 3-point lead. Idaho would get one last chance. Owen Adams coming on with 5 seconds to go to try and force overtime. Good snap, good spot. Kick is on the way, end over end kick, and it is good! It is good! That field goal would set the stage for victory. After an NAU field goal to start overtime, Eli Cummings got 24 of the 25 yards needed for the victory. The Homedale Hammer got the last one. Going to give it to Kincheloe. He's in! Touchdown, Idaho! And the Vandals are going to win! Hayden Kincheloe with a touchdown run! And Idaho keeps their playoff hopes alive! Hayden Kincheloe's touchdown made the Vandals winners, and it was all treat, no trick on Halloween.
Extremely proud of our guys. Faced extreme adversity in the game. Some of it was self-inflicted. We gave up a blocked punt. We got a few extra point blocked. Gave up a couple of big plays from their offense. Eli Cummings had a great day. Another, all-purpose type day, had almost 200 yards all-purpose, had a couple of touchdowns. Really should have had 3. I thought the last play of the game was a touchdown, but they ruled him out of bounds at the 1, and you're bringing the Homedale Hammer to finish the way. So
after the first win over a ranked team and the first road victory of the year, the Vandals returned to the Kibbie Dome.
So excited to be back in the Dome. It's family weekend. It's just something that we're really excited about, getting it back in front of our fans. We really encourage everyone that's in town to get to the game. It's going to be a really historic game, I think. We have not beat UC Davis in our last 5 opportunities, and this is our year. I feel like we can get after them and get them.
The offense has been clicking in the last few games, and it's not just because of the return of Joshua Wood or the return of a healthy Eli Cummings.
Like I said, after kind of the Eastern Washington game, I've been a little bit more involved with offense, just really trying to get us to where we're doing things we're really good at. and having a bunch of things off of those looks. And I think we've done a really good job. Coach Linehan's done a great job calling plays the last couple of games, really, including, nakeds, play action stuff, down the field, screens, just really opening up our playbook a little bit more. But it certainly helps to have Joshua back almost fully healthy, and now Eli's fully healthy. And you really saw that the last 2 weeks.
And Ford likes the way his team is playing for the most part with 3 games left.
I think we got to continue our momentum on offense and defense. Took a little bit of a step back on special teams, I thought, in this past game. So we need to get back to playing better special teams. But I think offensively and defensively, definitely hitting our stride, especially on defense. I think we've really kind of found a formula that works for our players, allows them to play fast and free. And we're sticking together as a group. I think that's probably been the most important thing over these last 3 weeks, is our guys really coming together as a group, playing for each other, and seeing the importance of small things like picking your teammates up. And so those things have been really paramount, I think, in the last 2 wins for us.
Getting the first road win and the first win over a ranked team was big. But what was even bigger is how the Vandals won the game in the end.
It builds a lot of confidence to know maybe we didn't play our best, but we stuck together. We never had any doubts, and we were able to find a way to win. That Owen Adams is a clutch player, right? He comes in, they ice him, he puts it right down the uprights, and he comes off the sideline and goes, "Coach, I'm hitting that thing. I'm telling you, I'm going to boom this thing." And certainly he did. But again, to have our kicker play so well in clutch moments to get us to overtime, our defense play so well in overtime, and then our offense being incredibly efficient with pretty much a one-play drive on that overtime drive was huge. And again, it builds a lot of confidence knowing that our guys can battle through anything. They've been battling all year, but to know that we can battle through and win a game like that, I definitely think it's huge for our confidence.
The Vandals will face a very good UC Davis team this week in the Dome. Davis coming off a home loss to Idaho State, its first conference loss of the season. A big key this week for the Vandals, slowing down quarterback Hayden Kincheloe, the most efficient QB in the conference.
When he's at his best has been when he's been able to, extend plays, get out of the pocket with some of their boot and naked stuff. I think he does a good job in their RPO game. So I think if we can force him into being a pocket passer, not allowing him to create and extend plays, that's going to be critical because he's a very good player. He's been very accurate and efficient all season. And I think if we can, again, keep him in the pocket, make him more of a true pocket passer, that's going to be to our advantage.
No matter how well the defense plays this week, Ford knows his team has to score to beat the Aggies, and he likes the way that side of the football is playing right now.
They think they've been a little bit banged up in their secondary, and I think we're starting to be a little more healthy in our receiving core, kind of finding the combination of receivers that's working the best for us. And obviously having Joshua back throwing the football to those guys is going to be huge. So we really want to try to get after their secondary a little bit, try to take advantage of some of the things that we see in their coverage, and then obviously still run the football. We're that's going to be our MO as long as I'm the head football coach, establishing that line of scrimmage.
The Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. As the Vandals team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor cares for elite athletes, weekend warriors, and everyone in between. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. We are now joined by running back Hayden Kincheloe from Homedale, the young man who scored the game-winning touchdown against Northern Arizona. Thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. What's it like to score a game-winning touchdown?
It was a lot, man. I saw Turb. I thought he scored, to be honest. But I saw they didn't give it to him, and we're on the 1 yard line. And part of me was thinking, we could just call scuba again. That was what we called earlier in the fourth quarter on that last drive. And we actually did. And so I was like, okay, here we go, getting nervous. And then everyone was kind of freaking out. And then they subbed me out and put Nate in. And everyone started freaking out again. So they literally just called a timeout. And I was like, okay. And then I saw Josh Wood and Zoe. Yeah, they're talking to coach. They're like, run scuba. And Ford was like, all right, let's do it. And we ran it, and it was awesome.
That's Nate has a party, right?
Yeah.
And we all know when Nate has a party, says, let's do something, even the coaches say, that's correct, Nate, good idea, we'll do that, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was really cool to just see the teammates like just trust me and want to run that play, and it was a lot of fun, man.
You score the game-winning touchdown. Okay, but it's not like a receiver who runs into the end zone and everybody sees him, or a running back, the screen pass that Eli had where he broke 150 tackles and ran 700 yards to get 64. You're at the bottom of a pile, so you can't get up and celebrate. But what was it like knowing you'd score, and they were late with a call? I thought
so late.
So, yeah, but what was it like underneath that pile? Because I got to believe inside you're jumping up and down, but there's 16 guys laying on top.
Yeah. Honestly, I was at the bottom of the pile just worried. I'm like, did my knee touch? Like, was I down? Because they were taking so long to call it. So I just started second-guessing, and then I saw players kind of start to celebrate because I was clearly in.
Yeah.
And I still didn't believe it, and then I saw the official finally give the sign, and Leon, number 51, started, like, shaking me, and he's like, we did it and stuff. And so once he started shaking me, juices started flowing. It was crazy.
What'd you do with the ball?
I don't know. I think I just dropped it, and they helped me up and just started celebrating. I can't even remember what happened to the ball. I should have just taken it to the locker room right away,
You know what? But that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Because the ball wasn't important. The fact that you guys won the game was the most important thing.
Yeah. No, it was just a relief, man, because we were up early, kind of felt like the world was coming down in that second half. They got momentum going, but it was crazy. I didn't think once guys were hesitating, and we had Dylan Lane on the sideline, like getting guys to believe, and our juice didn't go away even with stuff going bad. So it was good just to make it out on the other end with a victory.
Well, and everybody talks about your touchdoam, but if Owen Adams doesn't hit a 42-yard field goal, there is no overtime. What was that feeling like when he hit that?
Oh, I had a lot of confidence, but just with our past field goals this season, it's only natural to have a little bit of worry and concern. And I saw them try to ice him, and he knocked down the first one. I'm like, oh, he's so confident. He's so ready. And he knocked down the second one. And I went up to him in the locker room, and I was shaking him. I'm like, thank you so much for taking us overtime and giving us an opportunity to win the game. All from him. And I went up to Elijah Cummins, too, because I think he scored on that screen. I'm not going to lie.
I asked him I thought he did, too, from my angle in the press box. But when I saw him on the airplane,
yeah,
because we get on first and then all the players come on.
Yeah.
I said, did you score? And he goes, nah. I'd say apparently his foot had hit before he had leaned over. That's at least, unless he was giving me, I don't want to get in trouble with anybody, but I thought he did score. But you know what? He scored enough touchdowns. You needed to score one.
That's what he was telling me in the locker room. He's like, man, you spent a long time coming for you. And I was like, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You played at Homedale.
Yeah.
Did you ever dream about being a college football player?
I didn't really have any aspirations to play college football until after my junior year. I kind of had a breakout year, but we had a really, really good O-line that year, so I kind of thought, I had all these rushing yards because they're handing me the ball so much, and our O-line was really good. And then it wasn't until after my senior year, my dad kind of did my Twitter. And my head coach, Holtree, helped me a lot with the recruiting aspect, but I wasn't really trying that hard. But it wasn't till like the Shrine game, like the All-Star Shrine game. Like in my mind, I was like, after that, I played good in the Shrine game, and I'm like, this isn't my last football game. I got more in me because the thought of it being over was kind of scary, and I felt like like I said, I felt like I had more in me to keep playing, and I'm very glad I did.
Okay, so going into the Shrine game, who offered you? Did anybody?
I think I had a Montana Tech offer and a College of Idaho offer and a Linfield offer.
Okay.
So only NAIA and D3 offers.
What changed?
Oh, it's a good story. Well, Coach Petrino, the coach here before Eck, his staff told me I couldn't come here. They didn't have room for any more walk-ons, and because the thought of going to Idaho was much more appealing because even if I walked on here, the in-state tuition was cheaper than going to NAIA or D3,
right?
Even with a scholarship. So like I was like and I grew up an Idaho fan. I'm like, I just want to go. I want to go to University of Idaho, and they told me I couldn't come here, so that dream was kind of shot down. And I was gonna commit to Linfield or College of Idaho, like within a week. and I'm at Weiser High School for a basketball game, and I'm getting a freaking phone call from South Dakota. I'm like, who is calling? I'm trying to get in like the zone, and I'm like, who is calling me from South Dakota? And I answer it kind of rudely. I'm like, hello, and it's, hey, is this Kincheloe? And it's Coach Eck, man. I was like, there's no way. And I'm like, hello, and he basically just gave it to me straight. He's like, listen, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about you. We don't really have room for anyone right now, but I'm trying to recruit more in-state guys. I could see you maybe being a short yardage back first in the future. I don't know. I can't promise you anything plan-wise, but if you want to walk on here, you can walk on in January of 2023. And I graduated in 2022, so I would have missed all of fall, and I was going to walk on in January in the winter. And to me, I was like, I'll take what I can get. And I told him, I'm like, I got to talk to my parents, but you should be expecting a call back from me. And then so I decided to do that walk on in January, and by the grace of God, he texted me like 4 days before fall camp. Well, actually, Matt Lenahan texted me because he was kind of the one dealing with my recruiting. He texted me while I was at work. I was working at the Homedale Bowling Alley just to make some money before college. He says, hey, we got room, man. We want you here for fall camp. Be here, and so blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's in 4 days. So I dropped all my stuff and came up here for fall camp. Best decision I made, man.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's I've heard of guys that got called in June or July.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a spot for you, or hey, we got a scholarship for you.
Yeah.
Don't go there to walk on. But 4 days before?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like excited, but also in like a state of panic because I was just training and working and just getting ready for just to have a fall of just classes and lifting on my own. But I had to go up there for fall camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got one of the great nicknames. It's the Homedale Hammer. Love that nickname. How did that come about? Where did you have that before you got here?
No. In high school, for some odd, it's a long story. I'm not even going to talk about that. But like my nickname was Skinny in high school. Skinny. Like when I go back home, or if I see people from Homedale from my high school up here, they will just call me Skinny. And like no one called me Kinch either. It was just Skinny.
Well, hold on. Skinny is better than Fatty,
yeah.
But Skinny's not a great nickname like the Homedale Hammer.
No, I can't even remember. I think it was like just playing some scout team running back. It kind of, but I don't think it really came apart until my sophomore year. They put in like a fullback package for me, and against Sac State, I hit a D lineman pretty good, and I think it was Tagana, one of our O linemen, kind of started saying it. It just spread fast because it's funny and catchy.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I can think it came from was just for me playing fullback.
You okay with that nickname?
100%.
Better than Skinny?
Yeah. It's Skinny is a little Homedale Hammer's a lot. Like if someone in public's calling you Homedale Hammer, it's like, okay, settle down. Skinny is a little, not as much out there, but I'll take what I can get, man. Homedale Hammer's pretty cool.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen Hayden, he is not skinny by any imagination. So obviously you decided, you were going to go to college and now you're going to play college football, but as the process is, you're an athlete, but you're also a student. So what do you study and what do you want to be?
I'm studying finance right now, and it's been good, but it's, I didn't think, for some reason I didn't think it would be as hard as it is. And I'm coming to the realization that I actually can't just get by in these classes. I have to actually take time to study. But I don't know what I want to do. I would like to be a financial advisor or just someone that can help others with their money because, I was raised, thankfully, by wonderful parents, and they understood what to do with their money. And there's just so many people talking to, like, my friends in high school that, like, their parents are hardworking people, but they just put their money into, like, a savings account. They don't let it work for them or anything. So I think it would be really easy to just be someone to explain that and help people with their money and show them what to do with it. So that's what I'm hoping I can find some type of job like that after college. But who knows, man? You just never know what you're going to do.
No. Well, you got a ways to go. I mean,
yeah.
You're still young enough that you've got, enough time. Is it hard to be a student athlete and a student, or an athlete and a student? Is it hard to do both of those things?
Yeah, it is hard, especially in the spring, because the way the advisors set it up, they kind of lighten your credits up in the fall so you can focus more on football in the season. But then in the winter, that means you got some catching up to do. And so, like, the first couple months of school, the first 2 months of that spring semester are pretty easy because for football, you kind of just have lift and meetings every once in a while. But once spring ball comes around the corner, that's when you start drowning a little bit because the end of spring ball means, like, the end of the school year. So that's when, like, all your finals start coming. So you have to focus on one. Spring ball is insanely important as a football player because that's where you can establish yourself and you get a lot more reps and chances. So you really got to focus on that, but also your credits are kind of stacking up on you too. And I'm kind of like in my junior year-ish with school, so, like, my classes aren't easy anymore. And that's when it gets hard. That's when you start questioning if you really want to do this. But
obviously, scoring a game-winning touchdown helps you make that decision of keeping wanting to do this, right?
No, 100%.
You've got 3 games left, and I know Coach Ford is always like it's one game at a time, and in essence it is because you know, for a team like Montana it isn't, for Montana State, but for you guys another loss and you're out of the playoffs. So I mean, it's not a secret here. What's it like playing, because you played 2 games already like that, you got to have 3 more before you even get to the playoffs. What's it like being in the playoffs before November starts?
Oh, it's tough because you want to be going into the end of the season with, like, confidence you're going to make the playoffs. But here's something we've never had since I've been here, because I feel like we've been confident in making the playoffs every year until this year. But this year we kind of have a chip on our shoulder now, and I think guys knowing that if we lose again, there's no shot, I think it's kind of put a little pep in our step that we needed. And I've just noticed a complete dramatic change in the weight room and our practice etiquette and our team culture. I think it's helped a lot, knowing, like, that pressure. But it's also tough. You got to know it's there, but you can't focus all of your energy on it. Yeah.
I walked by the weight room this morning. We record this on Tuesday, which is one of your lift days during the season. There was guys screaming and yelling in the weight room today.
For sure. You know, Coach Coop, our strength coach, has us on a good program to where we're squatting still a lot of weight, but we have bands supporting it, so it takes a little bit off your legs, but still it's not enough to make it. So you still have to do a lot of the work. But the bands definitely help, and I think knowing that how much weight is on that bar, I think guys like that, knowing that we're still pushing heavy weight, and it's good. It's got the testosterone flowing, and everyone's freaking out pushing heavy weight. So that's great. It's great energy to have in Week 11.
We appreciate you being here. Thanks for sharing 15 minutes of your life with us, and it's a great story. I love stories like yours because you wanted to do something, even though people told you no. You didn't take that because you knew you wanted to do it, and look where you are now. Yeah, no, I'm so blessed to have this opportunity to come to Idaho. I really thought when the Petrino staff said I couldn't come here, it really kind of did not make me want to play college football because my older brother played at a D3 school. He played at Linfield and he loved it, but it wasn't easy on the student loans and all the debt. Like, I was just so worried about that. And I'm so glad I got an opportunity because it's been such a blessing here. I mean, the people I've got to meet, the coaches that have coached me, like, my whole life has changed. My perspective, when I was an 18-year-old to now, like, my whole perspective on the world has changed. It's crazy. That's what college is supposed to do for you. Yeah. So, Hayden Kincheloe, the game-winning touchdown in Northern Arizona. Thanks for being here and continued success. I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you so much. Idaho returns to the Dome on Saturday as it will host the 11th-ranked Aggies. Kickoff is at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Mountain. Our coverage starts with the Idaho Beef Tailgate Show 1 hour earlier, 3 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Mountain on the Idaho Vandals Radio Network. This Idaho Vandal Insider podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. When he's not caring for the Vandals as team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor provides the same MVP orthopedic care to our entire region. At Inland Orthopedics, our team is your team. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. We are now joined by one of the stars of the Idaho Vandals' first win over the Washington State Cougars in Pullman in more than 10 years, Jackson Rasmussen from Oahe High School out of Meridian, Idaho. Thanks for being here. How are you? Good. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Let's talk a little bit about that game on Monday night. What was that feeling like? Oh, that was amazing. I mean, you know, that was one of the games that's on our schedule that we've had circled off for a long time. You know, them being a crosstown rival, you know, getting the win was just such an amazing feeling. This is your first year here, so I don't know if you know the dynamics of Idaho, Washington State. Mm-hmm. I mean, how long did it take you to get immersed in that? Or is it was a case of that school's 8 miles away from us, they have to be our rivals.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. You know, they're literally right down the road, so beating them was just such an amazing feeling.
And then the women win as well. I mean, you guys play the same sport. Is there any crossover? I mean, you guys are in the same building at the ICCU arena. You probably run into each other at practice and training times. What's the relationship between the men's team and the women's team?
I think it's pretty good. I feel like all of us are pretty good friends, you know, and both of us getting that clean sweep, you know, I think it just raised the energy in our arena.
How did you pick Idaho? Obviously, your first 3 years were at an Idaho high school. Then you went to your final year in Utah to high school. But how did you pick Idaho? How did this fit for you as the place you wanted to start your college?
I mean, it being somewhat close to home was definitely a big factor. You know, I always wanted to play somewhere that was decently close to home. And I would say the coaching staff was honestly the biggest factor. You know, playing for a coach like Coach Pribble is exactly the coach I wanted to play for. In a system, I feel like it was pretty similar to what I played in at my old high school, and I thought the fit would have been perfect for me. So
you were a freshman at Hawaii when Jack Payne was a senior. Did you call Jack up in this recruiting process when Idaho started to talk to you, or was Jack not here when that happened?
Yeah, so I was actually already committed before Jack committed here from Colorado State. So
did he call you then?
Yeah, I was talking to him a little bit, but not a lot. But when I found out he was coming here too, I was super excited.
Okay, so it's not like he stuffed you in a locker when you were a freshman and he was a senior in high school or anything like that, right?
No, nothing like that. No.
Give you a ride home and drop you off in Eagle, so you got to walk, somewhere
Yep.
around there.
Yep.
Why basketball? You told me you played football. Why basketball? I mean, obviously, if we've seen you on the court, it makes perfect sense. But why hoops?
I mean, I just always loved basketball growing up. It's always been my number one thing growing up. It's what I've loved. Football, I mean, I liked football also, but basketball is just different. There's something about it that is so much fun, and I love it.
There was also a moment in the football field that made that decision way easier, right?
Oh, yeah. My sophomore year, I broke my collarbone, and after that, it was time to hang it up.
What did your parents say? What was your mom saying when that broken collarbone? Was she in the you got to stop playing football?
No, it was actually more my dad. Actually, after the game, he took my football cleats and threw them away. So that's when we decided to stop playing.
kind of made the decision there,
Yeah.
right? You can't play that sport in tennis shoes.
Yeah, no, we were all a little upset about it, but yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the game of basketball in itself. What was it that hooked you, do you think?
I think it's just like the fast pace. I love that. How there's no stop. You know, obviously, unless there's like a foul or some sort of call. But you know, compared to football, it's a lot of stop and go. Basketball is just constantly going, and I like how it's obviously a team sport, but like there's also that factor of where you can really like take over a game yourself. Versus in football, it's a lot harder to do that.
You're a true freshman. That's starting. That doesn't happen a lot in college hoops anymore with the transfer portal and all those other things. What's your mindset? How did you get into when you figured out early on, it was like, I'm going to be starting. How did that change things for you, at least mentally?
I think just not thinking as a freshman, thinking like I'm one of the older guys that I've been here for a long time, not thinking, oh, just because I'm a freshman, I'm pushed to the side and, not given the same opportunities as everybody else, but taking it as a challenge and just taking it all head on.
One of the things I say about freshmen, and it doesn't matter what sport they play, is they're not afraid of the moment. And that means they look like they fit in. They look like they're confident in their abilities. They're not the deer in headlights kind of a thing. How did you avoid that? How did you – obviously, being on the varsity as a freshman in high school probably helped you as a freshman in college, but how did you avoid that, wow, I'm here, I don't know what to do?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game of basketball, That's kind of always been my mentality about it, is going out and having fun and not putting so much pressure on myself. But I think, going to that prep school last year really helped a lot, playing against a lot of high-level competition. When I got to the college level, it just made that jump so much easier.
But it's still a hard jump, isn't it?
For sure, yeah. There's still a lot of things that, I'm still learning and still trying to get better on. But
I mean, your first two games, one you play in your hometown, in essence, against the top 50 team, and then the second game you play the first real game, and you scored the first hoop of the game. So I mean, it's one of those things that the game seems to come naturally to you. Does it?
I think so. I mean, I try not to force it. I try to let the game come to me, take shots when I'm open. But
where'd you learn that?
I don't know. Just my coaches. Out of Waihe, I would say Coach Andy, he really instilled that in us by taking great shots, not come down trying to force something, just letting the game come to you.
Yeah. What was it like last night when you had the 16-point lead and then it got chipped away? What was going through your head?
I was just trying to stay calm through all of it. It's basketball, it's a game of runs, but it's just whether you're able to withstand those runs. That's what it's all about.
I always ask this question of young people, and it's kind of not a fair question to freshmen because you're not even through your first semester here at the University of Idaho. But whenever basketball is over, and my guess for you is that's going to be a while from now, not when college is over, but it's going to be a while from now. What do you want to do? What you go to college to study something? What are you doing?
My major's a little bit different. I'm studying cybersecurity, so something in that field. Whether I'm working for company in Boise like Micron, that would be pretty cool. Stay close to home. But yeah, cybersecurity. That's
how did that bug bite you?
I think just growing up, me and my brother, we were into computers and stuff. I built my own computer, he built his own. It's just kind of something we've always been into.
I mean this in the only the positive way possible. You do not look like a computer nerd.
No, I get that a lot. I wouldn't say I'm a computer nerd, but I do.
Well, no.
Yeah.
You built your own computer, okay? To me, that's a computer nerd, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You're the kid across the street from me when he was 15. I would have called to come over and help me fix the stuff I can't fix.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just something different that we did growing up that not a lot of kids normally do.
Basketball star, computer guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
No, it doesn't come together. Whenever people ask me what my major is, I always get the funniest answers, like, "Oh, that's different for sure."
Is there anybody in your family? Was there anybody that you knew growing up that was doing that kind of thing that you said that would be cool, and then it kind of figured out, or was it just one of those? It was just you thought it was cool before.
I think my uncle, he actually worked for Garmin, so that kind of helped a little bit, but. I don't know, it's just kind of like me, my brother, my uncle, who didn't study anything in college, but we all kind of built computers together, and it's just kind of something we all bonded over.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, you could go to work for the government. You could be a super spy sleuth and computer guy.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That's amazing. Jackson Rasmussen joining us on the Idaho Vandal Insider podcast. Hey, thanks for sharing the time. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on a great start to your college career. I'm more excited now. I know basketball, you're going to be a great success. I want to see 5 years from now where this cybersecurity thing goes. We appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Today's Vandal Insider podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. As the Vandals team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor cares for elite athletes, weekend warriors, and everyone in between. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider podcast. We are now joined by the hero of the first win of the college basketball season for the Idaho Vandals, Kyra Gardner, the senior out of Raymond, Washington. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Let me ask you, I went to a high school that had a kind of a weird nickname that we got made fun of a lot. You are a Seagull from Raymond High School. See, this is an icebreaker. I'm asking you a question because you said you're nervous. What was it like to be a Seagull?
I mean, it was a lot of fun being a Seagull, but, the other schools that are close by, they always make, the chants. And, they always eat the seagull meat. That's it. We got made fun of for being seagulls.
It doesn't matter where you go, right? You walk into a building and it could be somebody you never played. It could be somebody you played 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah. So I went to high school. We were the Beavers. So that kind of gives you I feel your pain. So I feel your pain. What was it like to win the game? Because, I mean, you scored, 26 points, but you blocked the shot at the end of the game to seal the deal in the win over Washington State. And I'll get to the question you thought I was going to ask you first by asking you, what's it like to win a game like that for you, making that play?
Oh, it's a big adrenaline rush. I had a lot of eyes watching, and having that composure to get through the game, it was a lot of fun. And having my teammates there too, contributing too. It wasn't just me that won the game, it was everyone that contributed. It was just a really fun team win.
But the question becomes now, that's where you played for 3 years previously, and you go in there and you set the house on fire with the points, and you block the shot at the end of the game in front of their bench. What did that feel like inside when that horn went off and you knew you had won the game? Because we saw the reaction on the game, but what did it feel like inside?
If I'm being honest, I had a couple of tears that developed because I was just so proud of how we all played, and it was just super exciting. When you feel like you haven't played for 3 years and they go out against your former team and just light it up in there, and having teammates that are super close to you and having your coaches that trust in you, mind's blown. It's just amazing.
You said the tears. Were those tears because you proved something to yourself that you could still do this?
I think so. And I was just proud of everybody.
Yeah. You were such a great scorer in high school. You took your team to the state tournament multiple times. I actually got to see you play at the state B tournament in Spokane, which is the smallest classification. Well, it's a 2B tournament, but it's the B schools. You played well there, but then you go to Washington State and you don't get to play. How hard is that, knowing that you were a star since you were a freshman, and all of a sudden I can't get on the court?
It was a little bit of a struggle. You get a little mental stuff going on, and just knowing that you come from a really small school coming to a big school, and there's not as much competition at those smaller schools, but as soon as you get to college, everyone plays like you, and it's kind of hard to get to that point. And I had lost a lot of confidence when I got to college, but I got my mind right and kept working hard, and rest is history, and now I'm here.
Yeah. Why did you stay for 3 years? Why didn't you leave sooner?
I just felt like I was going to be able to get in because I was working my butt off and kind of playing against the starters in practice. I was doing really good against them, and I thought, I'm kind of showing that I can play. Maybe she'll let me in. But there was a lot of trust issues between that. But there's not really much else I could say about it just because of that.
I've also talked to some people who have gotten to know you, and they said one of the things you are is you're not a quitter. And if you would have left Washington State earlier, you may have thought, I can't quit. I want to do this. But I'm guessing that you transferred before your senior year because you said, screw this, I want to play.
Yeah, exactly. I hate quitting, never quit. In high school, I played several sports. Hated losing. Track, hated being second place. So I'd always work my butt off and try to be the best person and best athlete I could.
Okay, so obviously a multi-talented sports athlete. Why basketball? Well, why not another sport?
Well, basketball, I started with soccer, okay?
Well, everybody starts with soccer,
I started with
right?
soccer and t-ball, The two
Okay.
little base. My mom was the coach for t-ball, and I started really liked soccer. But I was able to play basketball at such a young age and play with a higher group of people that were a little older than me. And I just fell in love with the sport at a really young age and kind of just stuck with it.
There's something about those small schools where the gym is open a lot, right? And it doesn't matter how old you are, you're in the gym shooting the ball?
Well, when I was younger, it was really easy because, small town, everyone knows who you are. You know everybody. My mom was my coach when I was younger, and we were able to get into the gym because she had a key. But now, when I first got into, middle school, high school, she didn't have any other keys for that. My Nana was also a librarian in elementary school, so we had other options. But after I left elementary, we didn't have any way to get into the gym unless we like texted the AD to let me in. So we had a hoop at the house, and I would play basketball out there, shoot shots out there in the rain. It rains every day in Raymond. So I was out there shooting baskets, or I'd go down to the park and shoot baskets in the rain and wind, do whatever I can just to play basketball. So I didn't have quite the same, what am I trying to say, like
Access to
yes.
to a real gym.
Yeah,
you were out on the would any of these hoops have dirt underneath them?
The one at my house, yeah. And we had a shop and had a hoop out there too, and it was covered. And I used to put a grocery bag over a basketball to try to just work on my handles. So I would do that and anything. Because I felt like if you were outside, the ball's harder to handle. And it's a lot more fun to try to shoot it and all the other stuff, so you can really work on your game with that.
So the rain wasn't enough for you. You had to make it even harder.
A little bit.
I understand now why you don't like to lose at anything. Did you enjoy any other sports in high school, or was it just something to do until basketball started?
I really liked track, and track was after basketball. But I got to play soccer in high school, and then my mom didn't like to be out in the cold rain, so they talked me into playing volleyball for 2 years. And so I did volleyball. Volleyball's not really my sport, but I was decent at it.
Well, and you're also what, 5'11"?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means
I can jump.
Yeah, and in a small school? Yeah.
And that took us to the state volleyball and in Yakima, and I think we got 4th my senior year. And then basketball, went to state, and then track, and I went to, if COVID didn't happen, I would have been at state all 4 years, and I've won the high jump, would have won it all 4 years. So high jump was my thing. I did all the jumping. I had long jump, triple jump. I also did hurdles.
Well, I would think, at 5'11", you probably were. It's like the track coach is like, okay, high jump, hurdles, and then whatever else you want to do. Let's see how good you are at the rest of those, right?
Yeah. Well, I really liked long jump too. I like triple jump, but triple jump is so hard on everyone's knees. But it's really fun to just jump. I love jumping. It's my favorite thing to do.
So growing up, you obviously played a zillion sports and never, it wasn't just one. When you went to college and it was only just one sport, was that an adjustment for you at all? Or was it because I'm playing the sport I like the most, I'm good with that?
Well, I had a thought, and I was also texting my track coach in high school when I first got to college. And there was a thought in my brain that I wanted to try out for the track team. But when you get to college and you start playing basketball, that you don't have really a lot of time for anything.
Right.
So that kind of just went out the door a little bit. But I did think about doing that, I think my sophomore year of college or junior year, just trying something. But it just didn't end up happening.
So when you decided to leave Washington State with one more year left to go, why Idaho? Obviously, it's the closest school, but why here? What clicked in your head that said, that's where I want to finish my career?
Drew. I've known Drew since I was 14. He was the first one to recruit me, and I had a really strong connection with him. When I came on my visit, my parents loved him. I loved him. We fit, and I knew it would have been a really good fit here and with the style that they play. And Arthur, love the guy. He's a big teddy bear. He's a great coach. Love him. So I kind of knew, like with the staff and everything, it would be a really fun place to come.
Drew Muscatel, the longtime assistant here at the University of Idaho in the women's, and then Arthur Marrera, the head coach. Arthur says he doesn't yell much. That's why he has Drew. So Drew yells. Is that it? Are you finding that out?
Yeah.
Or is Arthur downplaying this so he doesn't want to be the yeller coach? He'd let Drew be the yeller coach.
Arthur just doesn't yell. I mean, if you're in practice and you say something a little smart aleck a little bit, he might get a little frustrated, yell maybe once, but it's once in a blue moon. Drew's the one that yells, and everyone knows it. You see Arthur in the game, he'll stand there with his hands on his hips, just watching and smiling. and Drew's the one yelling on the bench. It's just how it is.
It's a good mix. Do you revel in the smart alecky-ness?
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's usually a yes. That's what people say when they enjoy that. They don't want to get labeled the smart aleck, so they say yeah, sometimes. When you come to a place like Idaho or any new place, do you worry about fitting in? Because obviously you're not coming in as a freshman, and you're not one of those, we see you but we don't necessarily hear you. You come in as a senior, and your coaches think you can really help this team. How does that mesh?
Well, when I first got to Wazoo, I felt like I didn't fit in. I didn't feel like I fit in sophomore year, junior year. I just didn't feel right there, but I wanted to keep working. And when I first came here, everyone was just so welcoming, and I clicked with everybody, and it was just a lot of fun being able to actually connect with people and having the coaches pick great people to come here and be your best friends, lifelong best friends. It's just great.
How's your Portuguese? Because you got more than a few teammates like that. Do you know any words? What? No. Okay, we all know that when you learn a new language, you learn all the swear words first, so we don't want to say any of those. But I mean,
no.
Oh, okay, that's
No.
where I was going. Okay, all right.
Not really.
Okay.
I love all of them. They're so funny. And that's just their personalities. They don't try to be funny. They're just funny. Anything that they say that comes out of their mouth is funny. It's hilarious, and we all get a kick out of it.
So is Arthur the only Portuguese speaker on the team that's not funny then?
He can be funny.
He's
funny.
He kind of has to be. He kind of has to be hesitant because he's the head coach. He can't just jump right in. Obviously by your reaction, on Monday night of winning that game and you guys beating Washington State in Pullman for the first time since 1998. That hasn't happened since any of you guys were born. So, I mean, nobody remembers the last time. But is basketball fun again?
It definitely is. Yeah, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel when I came here, and it's a lot of fun. Great people to play basketball with, teammates that trust you, your friends that trust you, the coaches that trust you, and we're all just one big happy family.
Okay. So when basketball ends, whenever that is, what do you want to do?
I was thinking about trying to coach.
College, high school?
I would
something?
like to coach college, but I might start lower just because it's kind of a little common sense a little bit, but I would like to make my way up to coaching college too. Yeah.
Is that something just to keep you part of the game, or is it something you just think that this is something I need to do, or I think I would really enjoy it, or all of the above?
All of the above. I would really like to stay close, basically doing any sports. I used to coach soccer when it was summertime, when all the little kids, I coached my little brother in soccer, and I just like coaching. I did some little basketball stuff with my little cousins and the AD and Raymond and all that other stuff, and I just like sports. I'm a big sports fan and want to stay with it.
What's the one sport you wish you could have played or could play, but you haven't or won't? Is there one?
Oh, that's tough.
Would you like to line up at wide receiver for the Vandals in a game and catch a touchdown pass?
I used to want to play football. I played flag football when I was younger.
I bet you were pretty good. Were you the quarterback?
No.
No?
I can catch the ball.
I know you can catch the ball. I saw you catch it and shoot it a lot yesterday. Hey, Carol, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on a great start to the season. I can't wait to see what happens to you guys as the season goes along, and I know that a lot of Idaho Vandal fans as well for that. We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
This Idaho Vandal Insider podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. When he's not caring for the Vandals as team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor provides the same MVP orthopedic care to our entire region. At Inland Orthopedics, our team is your team. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. Pleasure to welcome this man to our show today. It's Tim Mooney, who is the Associate Athletics Director for External Operations. Well, that was his old title. Now he's the Internal Operations guy. Okay, what's the difference between external and internal?
Yeah.
And thanks for being here, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to be here. So just when Terry came in and moved from the external side of the house to essentially deputy AD, running internal operations, I guess in the private world it'd be more like a COO, Chief Operating Officer. So day-to-day operations, facility management, sports supervision, just keeping things on a day-to-day basis where Terry can be at the NCAA meetings and I can keep things running in-house here.
So before, for lack of a better term, you were out fundraising for the athletic department. Now, as you shifted jobs, that's somebody else's job. You're now basically, like you said,
keeping the ship afloat. Yeah.
making sure we don't go over the cliff, making sure we don't sink to the bottom of Davy Jones' locker.
Exactly.
You were a long-time coach.
Yeah.
How did you use coaching to navigate this world of being an athletic director or assistant athletic director?
Yeah, so I think as an athletic director, assistant associate athletic director, your job is to essentially we're all here for the coaches and players, right? That's our whole purpose of life for us is to support those teams, help them be as successful as they can, give them the resources and facilities they need to be successful. And I think having been a coach, gone out and do the home visits, been recruiting, understand the issues that happen, how you can develop your program, has really given me insight. Like I know what they're experiencing, and it's made me a better administrator.
Having been in that seat, I mean, you won an NAI national championship in baseball. I mean, so it wasn't just like you were a guy that was the ham and egger. I mean, you've got a national title. You were National Coach of the Year. To be able to know before you even ask a coach has got to make whatever your job is in the role of what it is now or what it was before way easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can relate to it. You know, and they're telling you like, man, I'm really having a challenge recruiting kids on our home visits or on their official visits. Here's what's happening in the locker room. It's just not able to sell that, or our scholarship needs, or how can we stack scholarships to make it a more attractive package. So then administratively, I can work with our financial aid offices. Like, how can we get this so it's stackable aid? And that just changes their world in recruiting, and it really has helped me be better to help them. And also at times where they're asking for, I need a third pretty uniform. Like, really, is it about a third pretty uniform, or is it about the Jimmies and Joes that go in the uniform? And we can have those conversations as well.
Deputy Athletic Director in your head, but in your heart, are you still a coach?
I know my role, right? Stay in my role, but I still love coaching. I love watching the game from a coach's mind, like game management, time management. Whether it's soccer or football, you still think the game the same. Like, we got to manage the clock, we got to manage score and distance, time and down and distance. Thinking those things, I love that part of my job, being able to still be around that.
So that part of your job now, where you're, as you said, you're keeping the trains running, you're making sure that everything works smoothly. Being a coach, not only do you have to delegate, but you have to prioritize. I think that would help you in what you're trying to do now, as in charge of the facilities, in charge of teams, in charge of just everything.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I don't make any coaching decisions or give them advice on what plays they should run, but I just still enjoy that, thinking the game myself. You now see it through a lens of how do we help all these raise the water level so all these boats float higher, and give these coaches what they need to be successful.
First time since 1981 on Monday night that the men and women both beat Washington State in basketball in the same year. I don't think it's ever happened on the same day before, but in the same year. That's 45 years ago. So when you talk about making sure all those boats rises, as a guy who's in the administration, had to feel pretty good last night after the men won and the women won earlier in the day.
I was fortunate to be at both those contests and tell you day to day to watch them go through the process and understand it. Like, I see what they've got to do recruiting wise in year one, how they're developing their culture, and just how they're going to go about their game. And both those programs go about the game. They play a different style of game, but both can be successful. Watching that happen, then see them boom, each year getting better.
Right.
But it's a great feeling. I was so proud of those guys and want to share, like, man, I see you, Coach. I see what you're doing here. This is awesome.
You guys just finished off recently the ICC Arena, which is an absolutely beautiful showcase place and a great place to watch a basketball game, and a great place just as important to bring a young man or a young woman in and say, hey, this is where you're going to play your home games for 4 or 5 years. So now you've got another thing on your plate, and that's renovations of the Kibbe Dome. Not necessarily where football is played, but the buildings, the facilities, the locker rooms, and everything all about it. Just tell us about this new plan and where you guys are, what you're trying to do and where you're headed.
Yeah, great question. I want to give some context to that. So the last 2 years, we've been working with Opsis Architecture and a project. We've hired them to help us develop a long-term athletics master facility plan. And really it incorporates every sport. Probably the crown jewel of it would be the Kibbe Dome renovation. It would be include a West End entrance and fan amenities, a second club room, suites, as well as just improving our concourses, concessions, restrooms, point of entry, points of sale. But in turn, down below that becomes the operational side of the house. So you got your front-facing fan store, all of that's your fan amenities, and then underneath would be all of our operational, our locker rooms, our strength training, storage, just what the things we need to give the coaches the support and operation side. So that's what's going on in football. Track would have improvements. Volleyball would have improvements at Memorial Gym. Tennis courts need to be redone. It's a giant project, but it gives us, you can't take a trip without a map of where you want to get. So we've got the map, we have destinations, and now the next step is let's start eating the elephant one bite at a time.
This sounds like a gigantic plan that you kind of have to narrow down, but at the same time, if it's going to affect all of the sports, there has to be some input from the football coach, from the basketball coach, from the soccer coach, all the sports that you mentioned. It sounds like that's already been done, and now you're to the point where, okay, at some point soon we have to start fundraising.
Absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. In that 2-year process, those are all the steps. What you identify is exactly what happened. You called in the training room. How many training tables do you need? What square footage do you need? Okay, then you bring in swim and dive. What do you need here? How many diving boards do you need? What improvements do we need to make here in your locker rooms? We had all those meetings. Then we also went and looked at what are our colleagues doing? What is the competition? What are we doing? So we did site visits at 6 different places, and that was all the background work. That's where we got to this master facility plan we have today. The next step, as you've identified, is now we have to fund it. We got to share this vision with our fan base, which I know there's just right now starting to develop a communication plan to make this public. And then from that is what resonates with our donors. Like you said, how impactful it is, the things we have done, like the Kibbe Dome, what we did, the club room, improved the press box area. I mean, that was very impactful. The new ICC arena, it's just changed us in basketball. And I believe in this new renovation and all these projects in our master facility plan will do the same. And the people who deserve the credit really are our donors. Like, we can give a vision, but without them, we can't accomplish it.
No, and that is what college athletics has become now. Is there's the administrators, there's the coaches, there's the student athletes, but there's a fourth team member of that group, and that's the donors. Yeah. Because without the donors and sponsorships, Idaho Central Credit Union doesn't get built. Without donors and sponsorships, the Lighthouse Center does not get built. I mean, the Memorial Gym does not get the refurb that it has which is a really great place to watch a volleyball match now. So all of these things, those projects don't get done unless the people who consider themselves Idaho Vandal fans reach in their wallet and hand you some money.
Yeah, that's true. We can't do it without that other stool, leg of the stool, right? We have 4 legs of the stool. We have to have that fourth one, or it'll tip over. And it's partners like ESI Construction, P1 FCU, ICCU. You could go on, but that's a difference maker. And hopefully they're partnering with a brand, the Vandals, who are they're great as well. We get two great brands together. That's magic, right?
Yeah, one of the things you talked about is Terry Golick's vision for this whole thing before we started this program. Just to let the people know that what she's trying to do. And the ironic thing is, and we don't know how long Terry's going to go. She could go another 10 years. I don't think so. We've had discussions. I don't think I will be here in 10 years. But ironically, she may not be here when it's all said and done, yet her fingerprints are all over this.
Yeah, that's a great point, and you have to have the vision. You don't just start from a blank sheet of paper. You had to do all that research and have a vision, and people then push towards that direction. And I think a great example of that is, Rob Spears, a former AD, and he was not here maybe when ICCU was finalized, but I watched him work on that project for 6 or 7 years before it got completed, and there was all the prep work. So he has his fingerprints on that as well, and then Terry came in and helped finish it. So I don't think it all has to be started and completed in the same leadership role. It may take overlapping, but I think it gives a foundation, whether Terry's here to finish it or the next AD comes in, the foundation's laid and they build on top of that foundation.
I was shown by a former athletic director, I won't mention that person's name, of a building design from 1968 of a basketball-only facility. So, I mean, it's been something that's been talked about a long time to build that facility, but I don't think it's going to take that long to get this new project done.
I certainly don't think so either. I think the time is right. I think the university just went through a total university master facility plan and a space utilization plan. So this dovetails into that plan very, very well. And I know the foundation is anxious to start a new campaign. They've had a great run and a great successful campaign, over $500 million raised. And this would fit very well in the start of a new campaign.
Tim, we appreciate the time. Thanks for sharing some of your vision and some of the athletic department's vision. It's always interesting for me to know what's coming next. And this is a huge plan. And I think once it eventually gets rolled out to the people, they're going to be excited for some of the things, the pictures that you shared with me. And when it becomes public, I think it's going to be really exciting for people.
Yeah, they should stay tuned. It's going to come soon. And Dennis, I want to thank you for all you do for Vandal Athletics. Appreciate you.
Tim, we appreciate it. The Deputy Athletic Director of Internal Operations, Tim Mooney, joining us here on the Vandal Insider Podcast. Thanks for being here. That's going to do it for this week's Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. Thanks to all of our guests. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday night for more Vandals talk from the Idaho Vandal Coaches Show, live from 42 Bar Kitchen, Tuesday at 7 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Mountain Time on your favorite Idaho Vandal radio station. I'm Dennis Patchin saying thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast.
This has been the Vandal Insider Podcast, presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Get the latest information on University of Idaho athletics you won't find anywhere else with the Vandal Insider Podcast. From in-depth conversations to game previews, the Vandal Insider is every fan's source for all things Idaho athletics.